For more on our crisis at the border, let's bring in the Attorney General of the great state of Arizona, Mark Brnovich. General, welcome.
Thank you, Mike, for having me.
Let's start with the southern border. Texas obviously has a major problem. How bad are things in the great state of Arizona?
Well, this isn't just an Arizona or Texas problem. This is obviously a national problem. We know that more than 2 million people will illegally cross the border just this year. That's like two of Biden's home state of Delaware's coming over just in 1 year. And as the report from Bill just alluded to, there's also tens of thousands of gotaways. So there's a bunch of people coming over, surrendering, that are overwhelming our social system, overwhelming law enforcement. But there's also tens of thousands of people that are engaged in high-speed pursuits that are trying to evade capture. And you have to ask yourself, what are they doing? And we know they're smuggling record amounts of drugs, and they're enabling the cartels to basically seize control, not only the border, but to bring violence into all of our neighborhoods.
What's the impact this national problem, this national crisis is having, the impact it's having on state resources there in Arizona?
Well, we start talking about these numbers and we forget, Mike, that there's human cost. We know now in places like Pima County, the second largest county in Arizona, that fentanyl and opioid deaths are the #1 cause of people under 19 dying, more so than car accidents and other causes. So there's a human cost, and then there's a fiscal cost in the tens of millions, billions of dollars that it's going to impact not only Arizona in overtime costs for law enforcement, fire departments, for the hospital systems. In fact, we have a lawsuit right now. The Supreme Court just accepted, U.S. Supreme Court, dealing with the public charge rule, because the Biden administration is attempting to give public welfare and benefits to people that have entered the country illegally. And I think that's unfair to hardworking American taxpayers, and it's incentivizing, that is monetizing people coming here illegally. So this is a cost that we can't even measure. And I would just remind everyone listening today that the looming man-made disaster facing this country is not climate change. It is the man-made disaster that Joe Biden and his enablers in the U.S. Senate have created on our southern border.
Another big issue you're in the middle of is vaccine mandates and suing to stop them. What's the latest on your legal fight against vaccine mandates that you're really front and center on?
Yeah, Mike, we filed the first ever lawsuit dealing with the contractors mandate. That's been put on hold as a result of the lawsuits my colleagues and myself have filed. We know that it's been put on hold as far as requiring the health care providers and those receiving Medicaid money to require vaccines. That's been put on hold. The OSHA rules are clearly unconstitutional. Those have been put on hold. So the Biden administration is losing not only in the court of public opinion, but they're losing in the courtroom. And what they're doing, Mike, is they're playing this game where they keep trying to change the rules and the policies to, kind of move the end zone. But me and my colleagues, we're going to keep fighting, because our Constitution can never be distanced, masked, or canceled. And that's what the far left's trying to do. And that's why we keep fighting the Biden administration and his enablers back there in D.C., because we got to do everything we can to protect our individual liberty and rights.
I'd like to drill down on your fight to help healthcare workers. They were treated as heroes, basically, for much of the pandemic. What are your concerns if your case, loses?
Well, it is an unprecedented power grab by any person, Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Red Party, wherever they come from, to try to mandate that any American, whether a healthcare worker or not, has to inject something into their body against their will. And just about a week or so ago, the police unions, the fire unions joined our lawsuit dealing with contractors, and those officials, those hardworking first responders, said that it's not about whether you're pro or anti-vaccine. It's about whether you believe the president can mandate this, and we clearly believe he can't. And the problem is you have all these healthcare workers for the last 18 months that worked overtime, that risked their own lives, now all of a sudden are being told that they're going to lose their job, lose their benefits, because President Biden has been all over the board on what he can or can't do, and there's been this inconsistency. And we've been told that, I know when it comes to like the Phoenix Fire Department, that they think they may lose a third of their firefighters. Wow. So think about that. Response times will decline. The ability of people, whether you're having a heart attack or other health care issue, that will decline. And these are folks that, my brother-in-law is a captain with the fire department, and these are folks that have invested a lot of time, resources, and they're going to lose their retirement, they're going to lose their benefits because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and Cartel Kelly want to experiment on our doctors, nurses, and first responders. There's something so un-American about that, Mike.
Attorney General Mark Brnovich of the great state of Arizona, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.